friendo, Steve here.
And Larson, welcome to Going in Raw Countout. Try to start the show. I was drinking some water.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I hit it and then I noticed you were doing that.
Steve,
they got your swishing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyways, welcome to the show. This is the only top 10 countdown list type show. Right here. Do I do the intro or do you do the intro?
It's kind of, this is your thing, man.
Yeah. So why you interrupting me?
Oh, I'm
YouTube.com/Stephen Larson.
trying to be your hype man. Jeez.
We're also available Patreon, Pro Wrestling Tees, and at friendomarket.com.
Oh,
Steve, cue the graphic.
Exciting, very exciting.
Our new merch store. You can get the Going and Slay Us pack, which includes a T-shirt, a great T-shirt designed by Steve.
Thank you.
High quality cotton T-shirt, high quality silk screen printing. You get 3 stickers. One of Going in Raw logo, one of the Going and Slay Us image without the show name, and then also a Slow Wolfpack sticker.
Yeah, man.
It's the one found on the Hey, You're Not Me shirt. Got some prints up there, too. More stuff will be coming up there eventually, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, man, this is going to be a regular thing. This is our new merch store. It's going to be a regular thing. It's a real thing that this is something I want to do. And
something you can do.
Something I can do.
We can do.
And I want to make $1.01 off this merch store.
Sounds
Great
good.
deal right now. I don't know if you mentioned it. Sale for the first week, $25 for this Going In Slayest pack. Like you said, the shirt is special. It's got a design that I made of our skulls, and they're in silk screen, so it's nice, bright, popping image. Not like the direct to garment sort of iron-on type thing that you might see elsewhere. This is a high-quality shirt, and it's best value, 3 stickers and a signpost.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Anyways.
Yes, good stuff.
Today we're talking about free agent signings, of course. It's NBA free agent time.
Most fascinating time of the entire NBA season.
LeBron James is now a Laker. DeMarcus Cousins is now a Warrior.
Paul George is still a Thunder.
Black is white and white is black. Paul George is still a Thunder. Yeah, exactly. And so we figured, because look, we love that kind of stuff, and we thought, hey, you know what? How can we translate that in the world of wrestling? Well, there's all sorts of free agent signings in the history of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna, in the other video that is also up right now, we go over the best ones. This is the more fun version. We're gonna talk about the 10 worst free agent signings in wrestling history. Let's get right into this. Number 10. Of course, Lex Luger. Oh, look at the Lex Express there, Larson.
See, that's like a huge perk of signing with WWF at the time, is he got his own bus. That's great.
Who's he on the phone with right there? I feel like it's Vince or one of the producers.
No, he's talking to Sting there.
No, he's asking, how long do you need me to be in this bus, and when can I get off?
When do I catch my flight back home? And Vince says, in 6 more months, Lex. Taking this bus around the nation.
He looks so lonely and bored there.
I know, at least he's got a TV on the bus. So anyways, an interesting little tidbit about Lex Luger's time at WWF. When he signed with a contract with Vince McMahon, it was not to wrestle.
It was to be a bodybuilder.
Not even that. It was to be a commentator on the bodybuilding show, WBF.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to be a co-host of the Saturday morning program, WBF Body Stars. So he left WCW, where he wrestled, and by all accounts was fairly successful.
He was pretty popular there, man.
To go to not WWF, WBF, and talk.
Yeah.
Was talking everyone to Lex Luger's strong points.
No.
Anyways, he got a motorcycle accident.
Well, hold on. Do you count volume?
No.
Okay.
No.
Decibels don't count?
No.
Then no.
This means you're in theory easy to hear. Anyways, so he was hired to do that, to be on air. However, he got in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, that is sad.
Hurt, and by the time he recuperated, WBF was no more.
Oh.
So he was instead.
Still got paid for it.
I would hope so. So instead, they said, "All right, well, he's under contract. You might as well have him wrestle."
Yeah, pretty much.
And so he debuted with Bobby Heenan as the narcissist, Lex Luger. That didn't go over very well.
No, it really didn't.
So
he would just like smile and look in the mirror.
Yeah,
and
they
pose.
bring out a huge mirror, and he just do this. So after Hogan left, they turned him face. made him All-American, put him aboard the Lex Express, toured the country.
Yeah.
And then his crowning achievement was body slamming Yokozuna on the deck of a war vessel.
Yeah. Right. And beating Yokozuna via countout at SummerSlam.
Yeah, 93, yeah.
93, and he was hoisted up.
As if he had actually won something.
As if he had actually won something, but he never won the WWF title. So weird.
No. And then at the following WrestleMania, that following Rumble, he and Bret Hart both won the Rumble.
Yeah.
He had to take on Yokozuna first at the subsequent WrestleMania, lost. Bret Hart beat Yokozuna, and that seemed to be the end of Lex Luger's push in the WWF.
Yeah.
And then he showed up a couple years later in a puffy shirt at the very first Nitro Mall of America.
At the Mall of America, yeah.
Just kind of wandered upon it seemed like.
He was just getting out of Sears. He didn't even wait to get home to put on his new puffy shirt from Sears.
No, he tried in the dressing room. It looked so good. He's like, it's okay if I wear this home? He just gives the tag to the cashier.
Please.
I'm going to wear this home.
Yeah. But, he's like, I'm going to get some Sbarros first.
That Stromboli sounds great right now.
It does. And then he looked and he's like, oh, look, they got a little wrestling thing going on.
I'll go check that out. Oh.
I know those guys.
Hey, Sting. He's my friend.
So, yeah, Lex Luger. And then it was just wasteful spending. Although, from what I understand, they didn't really pay him that much.
Didn't they lowball him? They brought him back?
That's what we read.
That's what Bischoff said.
Yeah. Well, it's Bischoff. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. Anyways, number 9. We can go on and on about Lex Luger.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel bad now. How many of these people on this list are going to be at StarCast?
Oh, I don't know. I like Lex.
I love Lex Luger. He's on our wall. Give me a break. Somebody put him there.
Is he a going in Raw Hall of Famer? I don't remember.
I keep on pushing Rat. You keep on saying no.
I might be convinced this year.
There you go. We'll have the ceremony at StarCast. Number 9.
9.
The Sandman.
Remember when
he's falling here?
Remember when he was a surfer?
Yeah. The most fascinating, some of the most fascinating stuff on the WWE Network is Eastern Championship Wrestling.
The very early Eastern Championship Wrestling before it became Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, and he was a surfer guy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, one of the ECW true originals because he was a surfer guy first, and of course, he became this sort of proto-Austin guy who would come out and drink beer.
Yeah, he'd smoke cigarettes too.
Smoke cigarettes and hit people with canes. There was that one, wasn't there an ECW when he was about to give this dude some beer and he said, "How old are you?"
Yeah, that was the show in LA.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm 21." He's like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Smart guy. I think he's probably for as interesting as he comes off. I think he's a fairly smart guy, because he never it was funny. He was never I don't remember him ever I don't remember any of his promos, to be honest with you. They all seem to the point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. A guy who goes around crushing beer cans against his head. But I like that he stopped and he said, "How old are you?"
Yeah, no.
Well,
it's a liability issue for ECW.
Well, yeah, but you think Sabu would have done that?
No. Not at all. Anyways, Sandman, he was a highly decorated wrestler in ECW. He won the championship several times, involved some classic feuds, including one with Raven. Mm-hmm. That was enough to convince Kurt Angle never to join ECW.
Yeah.
However, September 1998, that WCW money was calling.
Ooh,
he left ECW and joined WCW, signing a 3-year deal that Dave Meltzer reported was worth $200,000 a year.
That seems low.
I know.
Right?
It does.
That seems low.
Yeah.
I mean, he had fewer dates and everything, but still, it wasn't the big names.
You think he'd have fewer dates in ECW?
Oh, no. I was thinking WWF now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody always said they had an easier schedule than WWE.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they had to
ECW.
wrestle 250 days a year.
Yeah.
And then apparently, I don't really remember this, but according to Wikipedia, apparently they ran some vignettes where had Raven as some spoiled rich kid and Sandman as his preppy neighbor. Do you remember that?
In WCW?
Yeah. I just remember him showing up randomly one day as Hardcore Hack. I'm like, what the heck is Sandman doing here? And then he lost the match and someone shouted at him, "Maybe next time, Sandman."
Maybe next time, Sandman. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Anyways, he lasted a whole year in WCW.
Yeah.
I hope that contract was guaranteed, so he got paid regardless.
Yeah, I hope so too. But still, $200,000. I mean, just compared to what we knew other people were making, 200,000 seems like, not a lot.
No.
So, I mean, but hey, if the dude knows how to live, not extravagantly, then good for him.
Yeah, then 200,000 is decent money.
For him, it was a good one. I just remember being kind of excited that he was going to WCW. And
I knew that was a dead end for him.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to go. He wasn't going to go anywhere beyond like the hardcore division.
When they called him Hack, I was like, "What? He's like a writer who steals?"
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, that was a nickname. This was a nickname of his.
Yeah,
but still, I don't know what it means. Anyways, yeah, he went back to ECW, and then he wrestled at XPW, and then eventually made his way to WWE for a little bit. In their ECW reboot, I thought.
What was the story about? Never mind. I don't remember any of it now. Them being on the road. Was it? I think maybe it was a Tommy Dreamer.
It was. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, when they're on the road, and who was it that like OD'd?
I think it was Sandman.
Was it Sandman? And then they had to like go and get him fixed, and he was fine. Anyways, number 8. Steve Williams, Dr. Death, not Steve Austin.
No,
Steve Williams.
No, we've. I think we talked. We mentioned something about trying to do some retrospective on Brawl for All.
Heck
it seems like a fascinating story about the development of that whole thing. So, anyways, in 1998, Dr. Death Steve Williams was brought into WWE primarily to win Brawl for All. The problem is it was not a worked competition. It was supposed to be a shoot.
Yeah,
but they thought since he was like a noted wrestling tough guy, that he would win. And maybe Vince saw that he hadn't been pinned in a year and thought, he must be a tough guy.
Oh.
Maybe he was a tough guy. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably was.
Anyways, he got knocked out by Bart Gunn the second round, though.
Oh, yeah.
And then he hurt his leg. I think he tore his quad or his hamstring, so he was out of action for a while. But apparently, he was going to be groomed as a challenger to Stone Cold at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently, according to an interview with him, he was that spot that Triple H got when he turned on DX.
Yeah,
that was going to be Dr. Death's storyline. I mean, not turning on
DX.
Not turning on DX, but that spot.
Oh,
so I guess that would have led to he would have been in the Four Corners match in the main event of WrestleMania 2000.
I find that difficult to believe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember any of his promos.
Oh, I know. Well, I think JR was managing him, doing his talking for him. But so it must have been April '99.
So do you remember?
He was released because he was still rehabbing his injury and didn't want to go take part in a talent sharing thing.
You remember when British Bulldog came back to WWE in like '98, right? And again, so whenever somebody came in or debuted or returned, they would sort of put him in a main event type spot and then like bring him back down to earth.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if maybe that's what they had planned for Steve Williams. Like, hey, if we need a guy in between Mankind, Undertaker, Triple H to sort of have a 2-month run, like a transitional feud with Austin.
Not any of the major pay-per-views, just like a in-your-house type deal. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that would have been Steve Williams.
Maybe.
That would not surprise me. But because they did the same kind of thing with Davey Boy. Like he came in, he was like really tops, and then for like a month, and then they brought him back down to earth because it's British Bulldog. That wouldn't surprise me. It would really surprise me if they thought he was going to be main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Number 7. Original Sin Cara. Mystico Sin Cara, not the current Sin Cara who's Hunico.
Yeah.
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 This is the first Mystico.
Yeah, Mystico is apparently a massive star in Mexico.
Yeah.
At one point, probably the top star in the entire country.
Yeah.
And I guess as far back as 2007, WWE was sending Mystico, or at least feelers, out to sign him.
Yeah.
And it took 4 years of wooing to make it happen, because it wasn't until January of 2011 that Super Luchas magazine said that Mystico signed a contract with WWE. And then the following February, WWE held a press conference in Mexico City to introduce Sin Cara. And then he finally made his television debut April 4th. I don't remember this at all. I remember the vignettes they ran leading up to his debut.
I kind of remember those.
But apparently he made the save on Daniel Bryan after Sheamus was trying to beat him up. And then he didn't stick around the company very long, like 3 years. And then he got hurt and was replaced by Hunico, I think. And then they had the Sin Cara versus Sin Cara thing, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sin Cara Negro versus Sin Cara.
It was blue still, right?
Azul?
Yeah, but Azul. Yeah.
Blue.
But he stuck around till January 2014, when I guess he said he wasn't going to go back. But it wasn't.
Then there was that weird thing where he said that he thought he owned the Sin Cara character.
No, he doesn't.
Not WWE. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
Apparently, also in an interview, he said that he blamed WWE for not allowing him to wrestle the style he used in Mexico, which could explain
why his matches were so botchy.
Yeah.
Between that, maybe he's, what he was comfortable doing, not his opponents weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also he had to wrestle with no lights on or something.
So you can see through his mask, yeah.
Like they had to bring down all the lights. So it's like his opponent's like, no. It's like that Jake Roberts.
With my eyes closed here.
It's like that Jake Roberts.
Oh yeah, the blindfold match or a match.
Martel match. Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, on March 26, 2014, he was released from WWE.
Yeah, but
Sin Cara lives on.
Sin Cara lives on in the form of Hunico.
Hunico, I believe. He's now injured, though he was slated to be involved in a feud against El Idolo.
So, I think, isn't Sin Cara, the character still, popular?
He sold a ton of merch. That was my understanding. That's why they kept the character around.
Yeah, and whenever they go to, Mexico and, South American tours and stuff, I think that people still like him there, They keep him around for that, maybe. So, hey, if the dude's bringing in money, then there you go. It's a shame. I was actually really looking forward to that Almas match.
I know, me too.
Almas Sin Cara, because, they're coming up in the same style. They probably did actually know each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
That could have been a breakout thing for Sin Cara, maybe,
I know.
Because every once in a while, he'll show up and they'll push him a little bit.
Yeah, remember that kind of short-lived push he had against Baron Corbin where he beat him by countout and stuff?
He won 8 matches against Baron Corbin. It was weird. Anyways. What are you looking up?
Oh, just trying to see if there was anything in his Wikipedia entry about Almas beyond SmackDown.
Oh, right.
Can't find anything.
Number 6. Scott Steiner.
Oh, that's a great picture.
So, of course, back in 2002 or whatever.
Yeah, late 2002.
When after WWE, Scott Steiner was one of the guys who in WCW, he was, look, dude, he was, for better or worse, he was a standout character there, and of course, after his contract with Time Warner, after WWF bought WCW, ran out and he was paid all that money, obviously, and having his own history as part of the Steiner brothers in WWF before, everybody was wondering, well, is Big Papa Pump going to show up in WWE? Well, yes, he did in 2003, I think, was it? Or was it actually 2000? Oh, no, 2002. So late 2002, okay. So, yeah, in October 2002, after an 8-year absence of Survivor Series, he attacked Matt Hardy and Christopher Nowinski after they delivered a promo insulting New York City, establishing him as a face, which is a terrible idea in the first place. He just had a lot of bad matches. He was dealing with foot issues.
Yeah, he only had one good foot.
Yeah, he had one good foot. He had better matches years later in TNA.
We got his foot fixed.
Yeah, exactly. He got a new foot. He had drop foot.
Yeah, drop foot.
There's that gif out there of him, I think, fighting Christian.
Trying to jump off the apron, yeah. He just kind of falls off.
He kind of falls off. But, man, so here's the thing. WCW was the perfect spot for Scott Steiner because nobody would ever check him.
No.
If they tried to, he would beat them up backstage, legitimately. Yeah. Nash and DDP would talk about having to run away from him and stuff. And so, you could get away with that in WCW when you come out there and you're in a feud with one guy, and instead you just decide to run down Ric Flair and tell everybody that you're banging everybody's wives in the back. You can get away with that there.
Can't do that in WWE.
You can't do that in WWE.
No, especially when they say you're a face. You can't do that.
Right, exactly. I'll never forget, dude. There's that one moment, I think on Raw or something, when Scott Steiner was, I think he was in a mini program with Jamie Noble and his girl, I think her name was Nadia?
Yeah.
Nadia, something like that. And as she was walking away, he smacks her butt, right? Which should just be a tap, right? I swear he tried to put his fingers in her butthole or something because he goes whack and he digs.
Ew.
And it just looked. I was like, dude.
Ew.
So I don't know, like a loose cannon.
Yeah.
It was never gonna work. And
no.
They put him in there with like Triple H. Like his biggest feud was with Triple H.
Yeah, they had a match at Royal Rumble 2003.
Right, exactly.
Which was trash.
Which was garbage. And so it's like, Triple H, the company guy. It's like, okay, well, if you can't work with Triple H, who will do anything to get a guy over, oddly enough. Well, if he's bringing in a guy to try to make money with him, Triple H with Scott Steiner, he probably would have tried to do whatever he could. In a million other situations, it was different with Triple H. But that Triple H is going to be the professional there. And it just didn't work. It was a bunch of garbage matches. And then Steiner, like afterwards, didn't he have his picture up at like Mania in the security office?
Because he threatened to kill Hogan.
Right, yeah.
That was 31, I think.
I think that was the one we went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Hall of Fame ceremony, they had his pictures up in the arena.
Yeah, his last WWE match was part of the 2004 Royal Rumble. He lasted...
Or to say he reportedly threatened to kill Hogan. I think Steiner's wife disputed that.
Oh, okay.
I get the facts correct.
I mean, it was... The WWE believed it enough to put his picture up in the security office.
So.
He lasted 6 minutes in the 2004 Royal Rumble before being eliminated by Booker T.
He suffered an injury. He was gone from the company August 17th, 2004. So less than 2 years.
Yeah. So Scott Steiner, it just, and then he went on, like I said, he went on Impact and he did great things there. He called Samoa Joe a fat bastard, which, come on, it's funny. It's funny. All right, moving on. Number 5. Alberto Del Rio.
So he qualifies twice.
Dun, dun, dun.
He was brought back to WWE October 25th, 2015. When he answered John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge, defeated John Cena for that belt because John Cena had to go. He had a really uninspired match. Because I guess John Cena had to go shoot a movie or something.
Yeah, sure.
So Del Rio came back this time, teaming with Zeb Coulter. I don't know why they didn't really explain why they were aligned.
They never, because Zeb Coulter was doing like racist guy angle.
Oh yeah, with
Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
It was like We the People stuff, and it wasn't like anti-immigrant or something like that. What was it again?
It wasn't good.
It was something weird.
It was a whole lot of bad.
It was a lot of bad. It was weird. And then they never explained. They never explained why Zeb Coulter would be with Alberto Del. They tried to write their way out of it and talk about, what was it again? Like Mex America or something like that? Mm-hmm. Like they wanted the countries to combine?
Something like that.
Something weird. It never made sense.
No, it didn't make any sense.
And Coulter was in that like little Zoomer car,
his Lark
scooter, the Lark. In any event,
less than a year later, around the time of the brand extension draft, there was talk that because Del Rio and Paige were in a relationship, and there was talk that they were put on different brands because the company was trying to split them up, because they didn't like Del Rio's influence on Paige.
Right.
Then August 18th of 2016, about a month after the draft, Del Rio was suspended for 30 days for suspending the wellness policy. And then about a couple weeks later, he opted out of his WWE contract, saying that he was told that he would get these opportunities, wasn't getting. He was just unhappy.
Yeah.
And then September 9th, WWE officially announced that they had released him.
Yeah.
March 2nd of 2017, Del Rio shows up on Impact.
Dun, dun, dun. And so during all that,
oh yeah, he was
on Periscope,
drunkenly, sorry, not
running
drunkenly,
down Triple H,
yeah,
and among other things,
yeah,
just behaving badly.
He got engaged or Paige proposed to him at a show in Puerto Rico.
Bad idea, yeah, and then it was the whole like us against the world type thing. They were trying to give up because she had been suspended, she had been suspended,
twice.
But she'd also had like a neck problem, and there was all sorts of back and forth.
Yeah.
So it was just a big mess.
And then he shows up on Impact, and then you could tell things were going to go well because on his debut they got his name on his Titantron wrong.
Yeah.
So they had to redo it, and there was no pop when he came out.
Yeah, it was Alberto Del Patron, not Alberto El Patron. And instead of trying to like splice the two, or just run with get whatever has the best crowd reaction, which the original one did.
I know.
And then when he had to come back again, they were like, "We already saw this."
I know.
And so nobody's reacting. It was weird, but they pushed him to the moon.
I know.
For some weird reason, like this guy who has a history of being a little bit unstable.
Yeah.
At least on Periscope.
Yeah.
They put the Impact Wrestling, the TNA title on him. And then he won the unified Global Force Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship because back then it was supposed to be Global Force Wrestling. He fought low key at Destination
Or
X.
he was supposed to.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was
So
supposed
he was stripped
to.
of that title because of that airport incident between him and Paige, and he was suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
He eventually came back, but then he no-showed a Lucha Underground Impact joint show WrestleMania weekend, and then they fired him.
But we had seen him
A matter of something like a couple weeks before that at a live event out in Newark.
Yeah.
And he was engaging,
was
charismatic,
awesome.
passionate,
Great.
put on a fun match against Moose, dropped a great promo afterwards.
He said, "I'm going to die in this ring," in Impact. And then, but he didn't.
He just no-showed and then got fired.
Oh, Alberto. Number 4. Vince Russo.
So apparently, Russo joined the WWF creative team back in '96, and apparently shortly thereafter, WCW was in the midst of just pummeling WWF in the ratings.
Oh, no longer are we going to be cartoon characters or larger.
And then Vince said to Russo, "Hey, make this edgier."
Yeah.
And so that's what he did.
He developed a style of writing called Crash TV.
Yeah, and then by early '97, he was promoted to head writer of WWF.
And to his credit,
He came up with a lot of interesting stuff.
TV was pretty cool. Like Attitude Era TV was pretty cool when he was there doing stuff. You know, like we had I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what he actually did.
Yeah.
But if he was head writer during some of the best days of WWF TV, some of the more interesting stuff.
Then you have to give him credit for coming up with at
you
least
gotta
some of
give him
those
credit.
ideas. I wonder if
Yeah,
it's a
for
situation though where he can come up with all these ideas, but then you have Vince there to check him
Yeah.
if he's going too far.
Probably.
I'll always go back to Donnie Darko. The original cut of the movie is really good.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's provocative. It's not the word. It's intriguing. It's open to interpretation and discussion.
Sure, yeah.
And then you see the director's cut, and like any of the ambiguity is pretty much stripped from the movie.
Yeah. Sometimes like having my only my only analogy to it would be like comic books. You should probably have an editor.
Yeah.
Have another set of eyes on it.
Yes.
And sometimes studio notes aren't all that bad.
Yeah.
As evidence, like you said, with Donnie Darko. With Vince Russo, it seemed to be the same thing. Like left to his own devices, it's
too much.
It's a mess.
It's too much.
A mess. What if you have somebody there like Vince McMahon to say, "Oh, this works," and "Oh, this is crap," then you might do pretty well. And I think that's what it was. I think you're right about that. So, anyways,
September '99, Vince Russo and Ed Ferreira left WWF to go to WCW, and Russo said that it was just working there was too much. They had SmackDown coming on, increased workload, didn't get to see his family.
Yeah,
and so probably more money, lighter schedule over in WCW.
Yeah, that's usually why people went to WCW.
Yeah, pretty much guaranteed contracts,
more
less
money,
work.
lighter schedule, more money, less work.
And then apparently leading up to Sold Out 2000, both Bret Hart, who was the world champ, and Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Heat Great, the U.S. champ, were both hurt.
Yeah.
And so I guess Vince Russo had to shuffle plans. This is, when there was talk about Tank Abbott being champion for like a day and stuff like that. Well, apparently during all this, he was asked to relinquish his role as lead booker and become part of a committee of bookers. He said, "No, thank you," left. Kevin Sullivan took his place. 3 months later, Vince was back. And was partnering with Eric Bischoff, and that's when they kind of did the New Blood thing, and they kind of reshuffled the deck and tried to.
And there were some interesting things there. There was some. They had Billy Kidman win over Hulk Hogan at one point. That was cool. Booker T was always treated really well under everybody's. So yeah.
But then October 2000, he was bought out by Time Warner.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder how much his contract was for WCW. Probably a lot. It was more or less than Sandman made in WCW.
Probably more.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think probably a lot more.
Probably.
So he lasted just barely over a year.
What
a tumultuous year.
And he claims up and down. I heard him on some podcast a while ago that like if you look at the actual numbers, like during the weeks that he was running it, they were going up. A lot of people seem to disagree with that. I would probably agree with the people who disagree with him.
Yeah, me too.
Because he says a lot of batshit stuff these days. He left Twitter, incidentally. He's not on Twitter anymore. It's probably better for Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Number 3. The Ultimate Warrior. Look at him. He's in the wall. Look at him. What the hell?
This is a two-way mirror.
It's a two-way mirror, man.
So essentially, he was brought back to WCW so Hulk Hogan can get a win over Ultimate Warrior since he lost to him at WrestleMania 6.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the extent of it.
Pretty much. I remember being pretty interested in this, though. It was like, ooh, they're going to bring Warrior
No,
back.
you look back in hindsight, and it's all awful.
Oh, you look back at it now, it's terrible. I remember at the time thinking, man, this is going to be cool. I don't know why I ever thought that.
I don't know.
I was a mark, I guess.
Yeah. It was all new to us. We're relatively.
I know, exactly, it was.
You know, like in my case, I don't really watch wrestling in about, 5-6 years. So.
Right. Anyways, he came back in 1998, like you said, so Hogan could beat him. He formed a stable opposing Hulk Hogan's New World Order.
Is it really a stable if there's only 2 members? It was just him and the Disciple, right?
Horace Hogan wasn't one of them?
I didn't think so.
Or did they maybe he just killed Horace Hogan.
Horace Hogan was involved, kind of. Didn't Hogan
Hogan
beat him up to show
Horace Hogan.
Yeah, to show what he would do to his family member.
Yeah. They tried to do like a supernatural aspect with Ultimate Warrior. Like he would appear, smoke would appear.
Trapdoors and stuff like that.
And then he would show up in the wall.
That truly is magical, Steve.
Yeah. Was he involved with the Hogan's head coming out of his box?
No, I don't think so.
That wasn't him?
No.
Oh. Anyways, did Hogan get his win back?
Yeah, he won at Halloween Havoc 98 in a garbage match.
Terrible.
Fire was involved.
Because it was 2 guys. Didn't we do a going in review on this?
No, but we did talk about another count out where it looked like 2 guys had never wrestled before, or at least definitely not against each other.
No. I think what it was 2 guys who were trying to wrestle different matches.
Yeah.
Like neither guy wanted to do what the other guy, and you see this happen like in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Neither guy, this wasn't like a practice session. Mm-mm. Neither guy wanted to do what the other guy wanted to do.
They were both going into business for themselves.
You had a situation where both guys were going into business for themselves. Like, why wouldn't Warrior understand? Hey, we're gonna pay you a ton of money.
Okay, evaluate what you just said. How many times could you ask that about the Warrior?
I know.
Why did the Warrior do this?
Understand this. You're doing a job. Come in here, get paid. It's all fantasy, and just do it. But then you watch the dude's like little weird, like homophobic ramblings on YouTube, and it's like, oh, that's why, because he's batshit crazy. That's not surprising. And now he has an award named after him. So, whatever.
You move on to number 2.
Number 2. Hulk Hogan. Oh, look at him right there. Things like, dude, you got to get into shape, Hogan. Anyway, so we talked about Hulk Hogan in the other list.
Yeah. We kind of focused on the positive, I guess, aspects that he brought to.
We tried to.
Yeah, tried to the best we could to WCW when he signed there. Now we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about all the other stuff. So he liked the politic a lot. Mm-hmm. So there was a story they were telling where Sting was the primary protagonist taking on the NWO. There's one outcome to that story. Sting wins. However, Hulk Hogan tried to politic his way into that not being the outcome. Instead, Hogan would have won.
Yeah.
Even going so far as to tell former NWO ref Nick Patrick, don't do a fast count. So Nick Patrick didn't do a fast count. So when Bret Hart, Bret Hart, 97, came out to say, hey, that was a fast count, it was confusing because there was no fast count.
It wasn't actually a fast count. It's so funny watching that back and being like, wait a second, I thought there was supposed to be a fast count there.
There's no fast count. That's normal count.
Yeah.
That's just kind of emblematic of all of the crap Hogan would do backstage in WCW. Just keep younger talent down, always trying to put himself over to the detriment of pretty much everybody else.
Yeah, if you look at all the people that Hogan had the opportunity to probably even make more money off of.
Yeah, that's what I don't get is
elevating.
I know if he elevated more people, those all could have been money programs. And one time he did it with Goldberg.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, and it totally worked. Yeah.
Until Nash beat him with a stun gun.
Stun gun, yeah.
Or cattle prod. Was it a cattle prod?
It was a cattle prod, yeah. No, he, and funny enough, like over on the other list, our number 1 best free agent signing, Steve Austin, he was a casualty of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan said, I don't want to do a thing with Steve Austin. He's not at my level. And so Austin got fired. All the opportunity in the world to help build WCW into something major, a long-term thing, and instead he just sort of ended up being a big part of it burning to the ground, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Hulk Hogan, number 2. Oh, yeah. And then
let's talk about time in TNA.
TNA. Yeah, that's sort of the big thing. So, in October 27th of 2009, it was announced that Hogan had signed a contract to join TNA on a full-time basis. They did a big press conferencing at Madison Square Garden. It was featured on the October 29th episode of Impact. On December 5th...
he was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, because it was all on Spike.
Oh, yeah. He's going to make his TNA debut January 4th, 2010.
In a special 3-hour Monday night episode of Impact.
They're trying to kick off a new Monday Night War, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, it fizzled. It's funny listening to Booker T talk about it because he was like, man, everybody knew that wasn't going to work. That was a terrible idea.
You found these quotes from AJ Styles.
Yeah, so AJ Styles was on I want to say it was a 2-man Power Trip podcast back in this is before he came to WWE. And he talked about Hogan coming to TNA, and this is what he had to say. He said, first of all, I just tried to stay positive. Pretty much anything Hulk Hogan touched, at least at the beginning, turned to gold. But it didn't, obviously, because I don't think he knew the roster that was in front of him, and that was the problem. The names, the people who were the brand names of TNA, that they had no idea who they were. Obviously, we're probably talking about AJ Styles, Chris Daniels, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode probably. He said if they didn't know who they were, they just did whatever they wanted with it. This next part is terrible. They wanted me to dye my hair blonde and be Little Rick, and just because they didn't know me. Instead of being Ric Flair, I needed to be AJ Styles with Ric Flair. Being with Rick, I'll hopefully get the rub from Rick. There is no doubt about that. And Fortune, which is like the next version of the Four Horsemen, could have been great, but they broke up Fortune a little bit too early, and we were really getting some steam, and they broke us up, and nothing came about it. It really feels like Hogan and Bischoff came in, and it just became the Hogan and Bischoff show. And granted, they did use their time to build up guys like Bully Ray, the Aces and Eights storyline, stuff like that. But then, you still got matches with Hogan and Sting, Hogan and Flair. They were leading their own factions. Granted, they consisted of young guys, but still you got the feeling that they were the ones in charge.
Well, also you get the feeling that Hogan was using all that as a vehicle for himself, as opposed to using his name and influence to get other people over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So just a big bummer. And because TNA at the time was pretty hot, having all those names that now are big time players in WWE, it's an absolute. Could you imagine if that never happened and TNA played their cards right? And I know that's a huge if. That's a massive if. But given the talent they had, if they had somebody else running the show, like not Dixie Carter running the show, imagine if they, with their production value and the names they had, if they were the ones to establish a relationship with New Japan as they were coming up at the time. What kind of amazing expansion could they have had in the U.S. with that already in place?
I know.
I mean, it's a massive if, and it's a lot of fantasy booking and alternate universe stuff. But I mean, given all that talent there, the money that the company had, the production value, the TV deal they had, I don't know. It just kind of feels that there could have been a true, alternate to the WWE high production value. A lot of great names there. Number one, Bret Hart. Look at him there in WCW World Title. He had a tag title maybe, and look at how happy he looks right there. He doesn't look happy at all.
No, not at all. It's a bummer, Bret Hart's time in WCW.
Yeah.
Of course, he signed with WCW before the Montreal Screwjob, but that incident seemed to really break him.
Yeah.
Tremendously, and then that all coincided with WCW kind of in the early stages of their own downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got a guy showing up in a company that's not run terribly well, who's dealing with his own issues.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good pairing.
To go to a place with structure and vision, and I mean, I have no idea if this was ever a thing for him, but there were reports or rumors or whatever, and maybe he said this himself, that he didn't like the direction of the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bummer to be a guy who everything is passing them by, and that's where the ship is headed, and you want to go this way. And so he goes to WCW, And it's like, yeah, less work, more pay, and guaranteed pay, and probably a shot at, being still in the main event scene. But you go there and it's just a madhouse. It's just crazy. It's just a bunch of crap. And that's an absolute bummer.
He's poorly utilized in the very beginning.
Oh, from the very beginning.
They should have him on the Nitro after that show in Montreal.
Yeah, they should have had the day after, and he couldn't wrestle, but I think he could still appear on TV and talk.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I know JBL asked Eric Bischoff about that on his Legends interview, and he was like, yeah, I probably should have done that. Yeah, of course you should have done that.
That's the most obvious thing to do.
That's the most obvious thing to do. Holy crap. Did you see this thing? Did you see what just happened on Montreal?
We're in the wrestling business. We need to capitalize on this right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Shove him out there. Just give him an open mic.
Yeah.
Brett, say whatever you want. We're on a 7-second delay, so if you want to curse.
Yeah, we can beep it.
We can beep it. It's good. It's all good. Say whatever you want to say. And then at the very end, challenge for the world title. Say,
I had something that I prize greatly taken away from me. Now I want to come here and I want to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys what you
and then he got involved in that shit show main event at Starrcade 97.
Yeah.
Where he's supposed to say, no, Nick Patrick, fast count, when there was no fast count.
No, there's no fast count.
And yeah, he had some, he won some belts. He has some championship reigns.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, I mean, it's Bret Hart. So, just by process of elimination, he's going to be one of the more successful guys there.
Yeah.
And he had some good matches. His match against Chris Benoit with the Owen Tribute show, which, again, that happened while he was at WCW, so that's got to be horrifying. So he had some good matches. He had some good stuff, but obviously it wasn't nearly what it was in WWF for him.
No, in a matter of a couple of years, he got kicked in the head by Goldberg and suffered a concussion and had to retire.
Yeah, total bummer. So anyways, yeah. And on conversely, one of the reasons why this could be considered one of the worst free agent signings ever is because on the opposite side of the train tracks, if you will, you had WWF. They benefited from it all because they got the Mr. McMahon character from the Montreal Screwjob, and that of course launched everything. You had one of the top faces out of the way, also one of the top names out of the way to let Austin also go ahead.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyways. Those are the worst free agent signings in the history of pro wrestling. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. And, of course, go to friendomarket.com. Check out our wares and buy some stuff.
Yes, please.
Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.